Okay, ready when you are, Sean? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Doves for Peace. I'm Dr. Keith Beasley, and this evening I'm going to share a few insights and experiences, and hopefully some tips and some useful comments on healing, in its broadest context, that is. Before we start, I'd like us to do our usual just a few minutes to tune in. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in a sense of peace, a sense of calm, loving, healing energy. And as you breathe out any other thoughts, any other feelings that are on your mind. Breathe in a sense of peace, of calm. Breathe out all other thoughts, all other feelings. Oh dear. I see someone else has a cold, and excuse my croakiness tonight. It seems a bit ironic or paradoxical that I'm talking about healing when in fact I'm a little bit under the weather. But I'd call it not so much a cold or something like that. I'd probably call it a healing crisis. And I'll tell you a little bit about those as we go through this next half an hour. But just that simple exercise of focusing on our breathing. Imagine that we're breathing in peace and calm, and imagining that we are breathing out negative thoughts, other things that are on our mind. Just something as simple as that can be an effective way of helping us feel better in ourselves. It may not be a profound physical healing, but if it helps us to feel more at peace with ourselves, calmer, more relaxed, that to my mind is a form of healing. And it's certainly something that I come back to when I teach Reiki, which is one of my passions in life, one of my roles, is to teach or remind people as to their own ability to heal. For are we not all healers? I don't mean that we all have a role in life to go out and put our hands on and heal other people and bring about miracles, although there may be quite a few of us who could do that quite effectively. What I mean is that onto and for ourselves, if we give ourselves the time, then we often can help our own healing. Because if you think about it, if we have a cold or flu and we rest, we have plenty to drink, our body will naturally get better. If we cut ourselves, if we graze ourselves, so long as we stop the blood, our body will repair itself. So quite naturally, our wonderful bodies that we have this ability to heal. And that's worth reminding ourselves, particularly when we're put under so much pressure to go to the doctor, take this medicine, take that potion, as if that's what we need to get better. Well, sometimes it may be, but quite often what we need most is to give ourselves a bit of good old TLC, tender loving care. Give ourselves a hug. Give those we care about a hug. A little bit of love can go a long, long way. So I'd like to come to a poem next. Something I wrote a few years ago. And it's called We Are All Healers. We are all healers as we show concern for those in need. We are all healers as we share our love with all those willing to. We are all healers when we give ourselves time and space to find inner peace. We are all healers when we smile in welcome and forgiveness. We are all healers when we listen to those who need to talk. We are all healers when we hold out a helping hand. I think this is a theme that you may have noticed that I keep coming back to, that the idea of healing, of loving, of finding peace are just so intertwined that any way we can share ourselves from the heart will be beneficial to other people. And if that is not healing, then I don't really know what is. So let me go back to what I mean by healing. And this is what I teach when I'm running my Reiki courses. And that is, healing in the medical sense has come to mean the absence of pain or some physical condition. But as I'm sure those of you who are listening know, those who come from a more spiritual background or are interested in the deeper holistic sense of living, healing, it's about feeling whole, isn't it? Helping feel connected to who we really are. It's far more than an absence of conditions. And I know that from like this current bit of a problem I've got at the moment. It's just cold flu type things, maybe a bit of a tummy upset. And I know that they have come about because I'm going through a period of change. There's uncertainty and bits of me don't like that. And I find that when I'm going through these sorts of periods, that my body will react in these sorts of ways by bringing on cold flu type symptoms. And within holistic health generally, we talk about a healing crisis. This idea that to get better, we often have to go through a period of facing things we don't really want to, of releasing toxins, both physical and emotional and mental. And it's only when we allow ourselves to do those things that we can actually feel better. Because often healing is not so much adding things, although we may need to take some supplements, for example, but it's about releasing, letting go of the stuff that is holding us back. Those who tuned in a few weeks ago will remember that I talk a bit about the channel. Make me a channel of my peace. And also that when we have this open channel between our physical self, our mental self, and our divine, our sacred self, that's when we feel whole and healthy. And to feel that way, we have to clear this channel. And all sorts of things can block our channel to divine peace, wisdom, healing. Could be conditioning, could be bad habits, could be that we've been brought up to expect the doctor to cure us. I remember when I was growing up, I was constantly in and out of the doctors with a tummy upset or an earache or a cold or something. And I had my tonsils out, and I took this and I took that. I'm not sure they made much difference, to be honest. And I wonder in later life whether what I was taking was actually just masking the problem. And so nowadays I tend to say, well, how can I help myself? What's the cause of this ache, pain, whatever? I don't know if any of you are familiar with the work of Louise Hay, a famous book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she has this general idea that, again, we are all healers, and if we listen to ourselves, we listen to what our bodies are telling us, we listen to our higher self, and we can often find the clue to what's really going on. And she has this wonderful cross-reference between physical aches and pains and conditions in our life, things that are going on in our world that may be causing or affecting our health and our well-being. So for example, a bad shoulder, aching shoulders, really painful shoulders. How often does that correspond to us feeling weighed down with responsibilities? We're shouldering the burden when sometimes we don't need to. And so Louise Hay would say, let's listen to what our body is telling us. Let's listen to which part of us is aching. Is that a clue to why we're feeling unwell? And maybe we're shouldering more responsibility than we need to. And so the way to restore our health is to acknowledge that and to go to others and say, look, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling good. I really need a break. And although that might seem selfish and putting ourselves first, healing, feeling whole, feeling complete, isn't it about getting this balance between loving ourselves and loving other people? A course I did many years ago now, I heard this idea that we can be selfless, always putting other people first and not considering ourselves, or we can be selfish, always considering ourselves and never considering other people, or perhaps a more realistic middle ground is to be self-full. In other words, to be present with ourselves, with the situation we're in, and to know that sometimes, when we are full of life, but it's right that we should consider other people's needs, put them first, give them our time and our attention, our energy. Excuse me. But at other times, the only way we can help other people is by helping ourselves first, to resting, to giving ourselves some TLC. Again, the balance, to be whole, to be healthy, to have a sense of well-being, to be whole within ourselves, to be true to ourselves. And that's always been one of my motivations in teaching Reiki, to help others to be true to themselves. To thyself be true. How can we do that? By being present. It's one of these positive vicious circles which comes about when we do practices like Reiki, mindfulness, meditation, prayer, mantras. By being really true to ourselves. We are being at peace with everything and everybody. Excuse me, madam. I think it's time I read a little meditation to include a bit of silence, give myself a chance to recover my voice. This is a meditation from my Reiki book, Reiki Without Rules. And in here, beside explaining what Reiki is and how to use it, I include quite a lot of practical exercises to help you at any time just help your own energy along, to tune in. And I don't know why I chose this particular exercise, but it's called When in Pain. And I'll read it to you now so you can get the gist and just try a sample. But you may like to come back to this recording and try it later. Give yourself more time to try it. Now this is what you'll do. Choose a piece of music that seems to fit your mood. So if you're feeling tired, put on a nice bit of relaxing music. If you're feeling frustrated, perhaps put on something a bit more energetic. Sit or lie comfortably and listen to the sounds of your chosen bit of music. Or now, just close your eyes and allow the silence to permeate your mind. Allow yourself, allow your mind to tune in to its own music, or to the music you're listening to. And as you do so, be aware of any particular ache or pain that you may be feeling. Anywhere in your body, any ache, any discomfort. And as you feel it, put your hand wherever that might be. So I have a croaky throat. I'll put my hand on my throat. And as you put your hand in that position, be aware of the ache, the pain. And you may begin to feel, as you place your hand there, that your hand gets hot, or where you have your hand gets hot, or you feel tingling or cold. Be aware of that sensation. Be aware of the ache or the pain, and bring the two together. Allow the heat to build up. Feel your breathing or your pulse. Be aware of your own inner sense. If you can feel warmth or tingling, this is a sign that your own body's healing is being energized. And that's what we're doing as we do Reiki or other forms of healing. We are just bringing attention to our natural healing, giving it a bit of oomph, enabling it, accelerating it. And as you tune into any aches or pains you may have, they may get worse. And this is part of the healing process. If you think about it, if you've cut yourself, then that will be painful. And that is pain of your body mending itself, of the skin knitting together. Pain is actually our body's way of telling us things. It's telling us that we need to heal. It's giving us a sign that we are healing. And sometimes by tuning into it and working with it, we can help that process along. And at other times, we need to work through it. Allow it to take its natural course. Let the fever rage before we can feel better. If you're feeling pain as you hear yourself, you might like to express how it feels. You may want to grimace or even shout out. Ouch, ow, ooh. And I often find it helpful to allow myself to cry. Because as we cry, so we release the pain, we release whatever it might be causing some of these conditions, these aches. Keep holding the place that you've been drawn to. Feel the heat, feel the tingling, express how you're feeling, release it. We are all healers. We are all healers. So when you try this later, put on a bit of music and allow yourself to go with the music. Perhaps you've got a fast bit of music and you can imagine this music shifting the energy, helping you to move through any blocks physically or mentally or emotionally, to clear your channel. This is the flow of healing. It's the energy of life, it's already within us. It's not coming through our hands, through our crown, through any chakra. It's already within us. The channel between us and this energy is between our higher self, our spiritual self, our divine essence, and our body, our mental self. And the more we do exercises like this, the more we open the channel, the more we allow ourselves to heal and be healed. And the more present we are, the more in the moment. As you feel this energy flush through you, it'll help you to feel revitalised, refreshed. I'd like to give you another example of what healing might be. But sometimes it's not possible to heal at a physical level. And this was something I heard on a Songs of Praise many years ago. Now, to those of you not in the UK, the Songs of Praise is a wonderful programme every Sunday night on the BBC. And it's a service, a religious service, usually from some church or maybe a festival. But beside singing hymns of praise, we hear personal stories of people whose faith has helped them in life. And on this one particular episode many years ago, they were at a hospital and they were interviewing a physiotherapist. And she was working with people who had had amputations. And she said, "We can't heal them, they have lost this limb, we can't bring it back. But what we can do," she said, "is to help them accept that although they may have lost their own natural limb, they now have an artificial one. They now have the latest technology, perhaps, by which they can, if they put the effort in and work with it, walk again, run again." And I was really taken by this piece, because it emphasises something that I've learned and teach. And that is, often the best form of healing is acceptance. If our healing helps us to accept those things that we cannot change, wow, that's wonderful, isn't it? And it's a wonderful prayer, the serenity prayer. Oh Lord, give me the courage to change those things I can, and the patience to accept those things I cannot, and the wisdom to know the difference. So at the moment I have to accept that I've got a tickly cough, and I apologise for having to keep coughing to you and to keep drinking. But more serious things, if it's something we cannot change, the only way we can restore inner peace is to accept it. And this is at the bottom of some of the modern approaches to mindfulness. John Kabat-Zinn, who's one of the founders, talks about critical acceptance, which he describes as accepting things as they really are. How often do we just get ourselves so frustrated because we want things to be other than how they are around us? And that's just asking for trouble, isn't it? We have those expectations, we're always going to be disappointed. So I find that a wonderful thing we can do through healing is to help with this acceptance. Accepting of our situation in a relationship, accepting of the weather, accepting of the fact that we might be getting old. These things we cannot change, so why fight them? Acceptance. Acceptance. Okay, I'm hesitating to sing tonight because of my croaky voice, but I have chosen a particular hymn. And when I was thinking about this, I couldn't really think of a hymn or a song that was specifically about healing. But for some reason I was drawn to this hymn. And it's appropriate for many reasons. One is that it's an Easter hymn, so we're in the right season for it. The other is there's just something about the words which seem to be about healing and accepting and facing things. And this hymn was my dad's favourite hymn. He died many years ago now, and we sang this at his funeral. And it's very hard for me to sing it without without getting tearful. But I'm already croaky, so I can't change that. I'm sure you will all know it, and feel free to join in. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for the world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown. Oh, the old rugged cross, so despised by the world, has a wondrous attraction for me. For the dear Lamb of God left his glory above, to bear it to dark Calvary. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown. In the old rugged cross, stained with blood so divine, a wondrous beauty I see. 'Twas on that old cross Jesus suffered and died, to pardon and sanctify me. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown. To the old rugged cross I will ever be true, its shame and reproach gladly bear. Then he'll call me someday to my home far away, where his glory forever I'll share. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown. And exchange it someday for a crown. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I bless you. A peaceful evening and happy healing. I will be around for a few more moments. If you have any questions, comments, please post them on the chat and I will do my best to respond. Thank you very much. Bless you.